Okay, good morning, everybody. I think we confirmed sounds okay, so please speak up if you can't hear us. I'm Jay Canomas with EnterpriseKC. We are here today in Sublette at the Southwest Plains Regional Service Center to present some opportunities that we feel like will be impactful for the region, for high school students, for teachers, for college students, and others. And so we thank you for joining us. We've got a small group, so please, if you have questions along the way, we can make this conversational and a little bit more informal if you have any questions. But to start things off, we'll kind of go over our objectives today. We'd like to do a high-level overview of EnterpriseKC and also define and demo the Heartland Cyber Range for you all. You good?
Yep.
We're going to talk about some of the tools and resources that are available to students and teachers in the region, and Google Cybersecurity scholarships, talk about how you can participate, and then we'll open it up for discussion. And since we do have a small group here, I'll just go around real quick, and if you guys want to do introductions.
Yep. Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Mooney. I focus on talent and workforce initiatives here across the state and in the region. Specifically, I'm working on building a talent platform that looks to expand the size of the cyber talent pool.
Hey everyone, RJ Paracola. I'm the infrastructure lead at EKC and responsible for the development of the Cyber Range, which is an opportunity for students to practice cybersecurity education in a safe environment. And so excited to talk with you all about that opportunity later today.
Hello everyone, my name is Lindy Jensen and my title at EKC is Cluster Operative, which I always love saying. I focus on building a good, strong ecosystem with EKC and the cybersecurity community in the region, and networking with school districts to make sure that our projects are well focused.
Hello, I'm Maria Dahlquist. I am the technical program specialist for the Innovation Center. We're an EKC partner and running programs parallel and building off of each other's strengths, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you. And then if anybody online wants to go ahead and introduce themselves, that'd be great.
Good morning. My name is Inga Sloan, and I'm at Wallace County Schools in Sharon Springs. And I'm the K-12 computer teacher, and this is my 25th year.
That's awesome. Thank you.
My name is Melanie Dieterding. I'm the counselor at Kiowa County High School.
Awesome.
Melanie, you look familiar. Did we connect at Hutch at the SDAC Career Expo?
Huh?
Perfect. Yeah.
Awesome.
I thought I recognized the name. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you. And I will also say thank you to Kim Mock and Patty Titus and the Southwest Plains Regional Service Center for allowing us to come here and present today. So, and to Maria Dahlquist, who's here from Northwest Kansas and one of EKC's partners, and we're very grateful for you to be in the room with us as well. So with that said, very high level, EnterpriseKC, we're a nonprofit, business-led think and do tank focused on enterprise development, innovation, and providing accessible training to talent pipelines in Kansas and Western Missouri, specifically really Kansas right now. What you'll hear about today are two of our main focuses, and that's in talent and how to in the training around talent with our Heartland Cyber Range. So the reason EnterpriseKC and why we call it, our name is EnterpriseKC, is because we're focused on growing enterprises in the region in Kansas, and for the reason that as enterprises for us are defined as companies that generate 70% or more of their revenue from outside the region and bring those dollars back. They create an economic lift for the region. Businesses are important as well, but these bigger corporations are able to hire more, often offer remote opportunities for people that want to stay where they are. And what we found as we were out talking to these companies was, you know, their biggest challenge is talent. So how do we increase that talent pipeline so that we can keep talent from leaving the state and going elsewhere for opportunities so that we can grow them right here at home? And so what we ultimately did was applied for a grant through the Kansas Department of Commerce that we received to execute on 5 projects. And these are the 5 projects you're looking at. As I mentioned, we're going to talk about talent and the cyber range in more detail. So cybersecurity, and you know, the title of our presentation is Empowering Tomorrow's Cyber Champions. And so I want to talk a little bit about why we chose cybersecurity as what we like to call our crash test dummy. It's the first cluster that we really wanted to activate to create this economic engine for the state. And the reason for that is because you've got 5,300 open cybersecurity jobs in Kansas, 3,600 in Western Missouri, average entry level starting salary of $70,000 a year, progressing up to 100 in 2 to 4 years. 33% of those jobs, from what we found, can be done remotely. So that's 1,800 jobs in Kansas, where students in Sublette or Norton or Southwest Kansas, anywhere, you know, could potentially stay where they are and get a high-paying, high-opportunity job, and then maybe start their own businesses and create an economic lift for the region. The other thing that we've kind of assessed as we've been diving deep into cybersecurity is that while the state of Kansas has a lot of great cybersecurity programs at our community colleges that are 2 and 4 years, they struggle with enrollment. They struggle to get kids earlier on interested. So although the programs exist, we're only seeing 391 graduates that are coming out of the state that are programs directly related to cybersecurity. And so part of our goal is to really increase, I guess, exposure to demystify cybersecurity so that kids at a younger age can understand that this isn't something that's inaccessible. In fact, it's something that they might have a strong aptitude for. And then also really clearly define a pathway for, okay, well, how as a junior or senior in high school can I get to that entry level job? Or how even as an adult or a teacher, you know, how I can learn more about this so that I can educate my students. And so I kind of touched on some of these things, but our objectives as EnterpriseKC, so it's giving users in rural and underserved areas equal access, equal opportunity, and equal performance through the tools that we're developing, enhancing the cybersecurity education and training and innovation across the region, giving K-12 and higher ed students and teachers in your communities free access to hands-on simulative cybersecurity training, and creating a regional cybersecurity center of excellence that brings economic prosperity to Kansas. And when we say the regional cybersecurity center of excellence, we're not like talking about a building necessarily. We're talking about just the idea of these tools and this ecosystem that we're building to create an area where talent, where we are known for, hey, the state of Kansas does really well in talent for cybersecurity, and to set ourselves a little bit apart from maybe the rest of the country. So those are our objectives. I've been talking a lot. I'll turn it over to Eric to talk more about talent and about our scholarship opportunity.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. I mean, simply put, we're trying to build Cyber Disney World here in the region. And I think through a bunch of our tools and programs, we can create that experience for talent. One of those is a really cool opportunity being through Google, and that's the Google Cybersecurity Scholarship. And it's all about creating workforce-ready talent. We have a direct partnership with Google, and Maria, I'll have her talk about her program specifically here in a second too. But just as an overview, it's a great spark and gateway into learning cybersecurity with no experience required. So being able to take an individual, Inga, that maybe is taking some of your computer science courses, and then being able to layer on a certification in the high school level, tapping into some of the tools you'll hear about in a second, is really the opportunity we're trying to create to fill in the gap that Jay kind of outlined with the open jobs and the access to opportunity there. The program is flexible, it's self-paced online, and we're trying to create, and it's through Coursera. But what we're trying to do is take the Coursera program and create a personalized experience for students, and being able to add those personal touches, whether it's connections to mentors, connections to counselors, connections to industry professionals along the way. So the application process for there's two. We have the Enterprise Kansas City version, which routes you through our Google form, and then Maria we'll talk here in a second here about her particular program as well. But it's a super cool opportunity. We've already seen some early wins and successes, and as we scale, we want to make sure it's available, accessible, to help fill these opportunities that Jay outlined. So I'll have Maria talk a little bit about her particular program. She's been a great partner, and a massive asset to this entire state. So I'll have, yep.
One point I'd like to make is the ASE, thank you, certified credits. The Google certification earns 9 ASE certified. I keep wanting to say ACE. But we are also working with, now, my program is strictly Northwest Kansas, but I've been working with the high schools and doing the same Google partnership and such. So far, it's going absolutely fantastic. We've, like Eric said, we've had quite a few wins. I've had students come in. One student finished the Google certification in 2 weeks because he came in with prior knowledge. But that is definitely not a requirement. The Google certification is a perfect foundational setup for a career in cybersecurity, even if you go into it knowing absolutely nothing. To be brutally honest,
Yeah.
I did. And I really enjoyed it. It's very user-friendly, really easy to get through. There's no supervision required for the students. We track them weekly. We're setting up a dashboard for the counselors to be able to access the students' information on Coursera so they can see live what kind of progress they're making. We've just got all these things that we're building as time goes by. It just gets bigger and better. So it's definitely an amazing opportunity for these students, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, and I would say the other thing, I think, opportunity with this is that we've been meeting with, thank you. We've been talking to community colleges in 2 and 4 years. As Maria mentioned, the ACE recommendation is 9 credit hours. So we're looking at trying to identify pathways of these students who could be juniors and seniors in school, leveraging even a relationship with JAG-K that we've recently formed, where, you know, students could potentially in class be able to access and do the training and come out of high school with with the Google Cybersecurity certificate, and it's a free scholarship, and then 9 credit hours. And then what we've been really trying to do is talk to community colleges in the region about offering a scholarship for that pathway to then go into a cyber program at a 2-year or even at a 4-year. So there's a whole lot of opportunity that we see here. And I think the other thing that we can't miss, that I don't want to miss as an opportunity, is that we know a lot of students aren't potentially going to take a 2 or 4-year post-secondary journey, right? And there are opportunities with this certificate where it is prepares you for an industry recognized credential, where some of these students could potentially transition straight to workforce in a high-paying, high-opportunity job. And so those are things that we don't want to lose sight of. We've certainly furthering your education is going to help you along the way, but this is another way to help train or tap into a talent pool for the cybersecurity job shortage.
And one final point I'll make is that, part of our goal and charter from the state is to focus on creating more cyber warriors to defend our networks. The other thing of note is that cybersecurity is in every industry, notable industry in the state. I mean, it's in agriculture, it's in architecture and engineering, it's in construction, and it's in healthcare. And we've been, our eyes have been opened a lot just to the opportunity that exists with the cybersecurity companies, but also that hospitals in your communities have cybersecurity needs, and everything there. So it's beyond just like working at some techie cyber company, and it's in the everyday and ordinary. Yeah.
Healthcare, financial services, all across the.
And this is a great spark into those opportunities as well.
So I think from there, Are there questions? Let's stop on that, because if you have any questions about the scholarships in general and how to apply for them, we're happy to answer those. It is done straight through, for Southwest Kansas, members of Southwest Kansas, straight through our website. There's an apply now feature, where student or teacher can go on. And I want to make that clear too, that teachers are available to, we'll give the scholarships to teachers as well. Anything on that before we move on? Okay. Oops. RJ?
Did we get a question?
No.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
I'll move out of the way.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, yeah, we did. What does it look like for a high school student if they take it at class? How do they earn a grade, for example? Yeah, so good question. And you might have some insights there. So you start.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. What I do is I track the students weekly. They take one class period per day. Coursera allows me to see when they last logged on and made progress in the courses. I can also see their quiz grades. And at the end of the semester, I go ahead and create their grades and send them to the counselors. I base them on, of course, their progress through the courses, but also on their communication with me. If I send them a Slack message and they answer, within a reasonable amount of time, great. If they're not answering me for 2 weeks, then, that's going to drag them down. And I make that very clear to them as well. So they can develop those communication skills, make sure you have your notifications set up properly and so on. Basically, it's very easy for the schools to, their involvement is fairly low. I just send them the grades and they enter them, and that's about it.
And then, go ahead, I'm sorry.
It is based on like their quiz scores and their progress and such.
And then I think in the JAG-K model, that's an in-school where it's facilitated in there, was it like an 8th hour
Yeah.
extra period? And so it would just be, I know that was kind of the way they were looking at it, was that they could be doing a course in their JAG-K time to work on getting their credential. But we are more than happy to work with anybody on how you would like to structure it, or, it's very flexible. As we said, it's self-paced, it's online. So I think Eric had kind of had that idea of structuring it with the school year, and Maria, you too, where, it's maybe a module a month, right? Over the course of 8 months.
Yeah.
Can I ask Maria one more question? Have you had any students not finish it? And then what happens with their grade?
I've had one student that finished a semester, but then didn't sign up for a class for the next semester. So that was a clean break. As far as somebody dropping in the middle of a semester, we haven't experienced that yet, but we would be able to figure something out for just, base it on the time that they were in the class, and we'll definitely work with you.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah, and we're early on in rolling it out. So at least from the EKC side and our scholarships, we've had people who didn't complete that enrolled, but it wasn't necessarily being sort of facilitated through the high school. It was just people enrolling outside of. So I think if, we could create some accountability measures or something like that with counselors or teachers or whomever with the high schools to help make sure that students are getting through.
That
Great
helps.
questions. Yeah, thank you. I think, so we've been talking about a cyber range, and then unless you all are familiar with it, we're gonna have RJ, because I sure wasn't when I first heard about what it is.
Nor was I.
Yeah, we're gonna have RJ give you an overview of what the cyber range is, and then actually get to kind of show you a little demo of the LMS. So.
Sure. Yeah, so when it comes to cybersecurity, and specifically within learning, it's one thing to read about cybersecurity topics in a book or a lecture in the classroom, but really in order to make students well qualified for real world opportunities, they need practice and hands-on training, and most importantly, in a safe environment. Because if you're in a school's network or operating through a business, you can't do real cybersecurity training in that environment. It's too dangerous. And so we've designed a platform for students to practice these cybersecurity concepts and get that hands-on experience in an isolated network that we've built out throughout the region, which is really exciting and starting to move, making great progress there, but really providing the opportunities for students at no cost to gain these cybersecurity concepts. And so the range itself, in terms of accessing the range, we wanted to make it easy for students to access the range no matter where they are. In terms of what's needed, all you need is an internet connection. You pull up a browser, and I'll demo some of that here in a little bit. But there's really no special equipment needed. And in terms of the content that we have available, like I said, we wanted to make it engaging and dynamic in terms of the content, and also the ability to be self-paced. And so the learning pathways that we've identified, one of the earlier pathways we've looked into is making it easy for a student with zero cybersecurity experience to figure out just where they need to start. And so making sure that when they access the range, we can provide the content in labs that they can go through to get that hands-on experience with zero experience, and make sure that they can progress throughout their journey. In terms of our learning management system, which essentially all that is a way to track the progress of students, and it show them all of the content available. We make sure that as they're progressing, we tell them where they need to go and where they're at right now. And so ultimately the end goal is to get them a high paying, high opportunity job in cybersecurity. And so they'll progress through the range to do that. And so I'll take the opportunity at a high level. Any questions before I kind of show what that looks like? Great. And so this is actually the front end through the browser that the students will access. In terms of the timeline right now, we are still in internal testing, and we'll be doing some beta testing here within the next couple of months, which I know Marie is really excited for. Long time in the making, but we're moving now. And so this is the front end, and it'll have a little bit of a different look and feel, a more improved experience, but really the opportunity is, how do we lay out the content and make it easy for students to access? And so I'll just go through a quick example of what a student might look at in the range. And so here's a course on Nmap, which is a networking course. And within this, there's a video for the students to watch. And then there's also a lab exercise, which I really want to stress on the lab exercise, because this is the opportunity for students to get the hands-on training. That's really the key piece of the cyber range. And so I'll briefly show what that looks like here. And so the student will start the lab here. And I might already have it spun up. There we go.
Now, don't these virtual machines typically take quite a while?
Yeah, the virtual, that's a really great point. So yeah, in terms of when we were designing the range, we looked at a lot of other cyber ranges across the country, and what you'll see here, I'll demo this real quick. So this is a Kali box, which is used for offensive cybersecurity. And so this is actually a separate isolated environment where, as I mentioned, the students can practice. And so this is actually a different network that we have created where these students can practice. And so I just spun up a Kali box here, and this is where all of the training will take place. But really, Maria had mentioned that when we were looking at other ranges and looking at the time it takes to spin up the machines, as you all saw here, it took less than 5 seconds to spin this up. And some of the other ranges out there were taking 10, 15 minutes, sometimes even 20 minutes to spin up one of these environments. And when it comes to students in the classroom, 20 minutes is a long time of waiting just to get that pulled up. And so we wanted to really emphasize performance and ensure that students throughout the region, whether you're in Sublette, Northwest Kansas, wherever you're at throughout the region, you have the same experience in terms of performance. And so that's part of the network that the range sits on top of. Any questions on at a high level on the cyber range? And I will throw out in terms of our timeline, I mentioned that we are still doing internal testing. Here within the next 1 to 2 months, we are opening up the range for an opportunity for beta testing. And so if any of you are interested in gaining early access to the range from the teacher instructor level, I'm happy to provide the information there if that's desired.
Can you maybe touch on how the Grow with Google Cert and the Cyber Range kind of complement each other?
Sure. Yeah, let me pull up the catalog. That's a great idea, Eric. So this is our draft of the content catalog, but we wanted to, as I mentioned, create different experiences for users based on where you're at with your cybersecurity journey. And so Eric brought up a great point. As you'll see on the left-hand side here, we really wanted to focus on the beginner pathways. And so what does that look like? And in terms of the Grow with Google opportunity, a lot of that knowledge is theoretical concepts, which is great. But we decided that we wanted to take that experience for a student kind of to the next level and provide the hands-on training for students to, as they progress through their Grow with Google journey, to, you know, accompany that with the Cyber Range and take some of the training modules that are associated with that. And so we'll be able to identify the individuals that are signed up for Grow with Google and recommend that learning pathway for how we've mapped out all of the content within the range.
Yeah, so your students, if you had juniors or seniors that are getting in, they're getting the theoretical curriculum, you know, from Google and on Coursera, but they're also getting free access to the Cyber Range for that hands-on training, which we really believe will kind of set them apart maybe from, you know, from others, because they'll have not only the theoretical side, but the hands-on keyboard side. And we've heard from industry that Cyber Range experience is highly desired, and that hands-on keyboard training is some of the best that you can get. So.
Absolutely. And one piece I'll note as well on the career journeys is we've mapped all of our content within the range to what's called the NICE framework, which is essentially the 52 job roles that they have identified within cybersecurity. And so we'll have some of those roles mapped out when we launch the range here in the next few months. I've listed a few here, but mainly more of the defense level roles that students can progress and ultimately get the opportunities for some of these jobs.
And the assessment test, when they take the assessment test, that will help them.
The assessment tool?
Yeah, yep, a little bit. That's a good point, Maria. And so one of the other things we're developing outside of the Cyber Range is what we call an assessment tool. So what we hear a lot is all this, what we've been talking about sounds awesome. I have students that want to jump on this right away. But it's hard and difficult to know where to start. So we're creating an assessment tool that was formulated through countless interviews with companies in this region, asking primarily one question: what does high performance look like? Not necessarily what school they went to, but how are they as individuals? How are they as people? How do they act in certain situations? And we've reverse engineered that through a group of psychometricians, which I didn't know was a role until coming to this job. But they take those scenarios and then they take those attributes and map them to certain scenarios to then see where students measure along that journey. The end result of that assessment is clarification to what RJ said, is I'm more offensive minded, I'm more defensive minded. And now with that ammo, I can go into the Cyber Range, take my attributes and individuals as a person, and add my qualifications and add my certifications. And we're now creating a really well-rounded individual where someone can see how they are in certain situations and then go add the qualifications that are also necessary to create that well-rounded student.
Any questions from there? I think we'll go, RJ kind of touched on, you know, what our goal was for the range and making it accessible, high performance, secure, ability to scale, and the ability for us to operate it for years to come was really important for us. And so with that said, one of the things, and I guess I'll go back to say, is RJ mentioned the network that we're building, and what we're really asking for in partnership to make this accessible and high performance across the state is partnership in hosting a machine. And what those are, they're allowing us to create a decentralized edge network. When we started to do research on some of the big providers like AWS or Microsoft Azure, as a nonprofit, we realized this is probably not going to be feasible for us economically. And so we started to look for alternative solutions. Kind of an interesting story, and this is a true story, is that the founder of the company that we partnered with, Thistle, who has the technology that is allowing us to build this network, is a Ingalls, Kansas native, Garden City high school graduate, and then ultimately went on to KU to get his computer science degree. And so born and raised in Kansas, has a really big passion for rural and underserved training and accessibility to training. And so his vision and our vision aligned really well. And so what we're doing is asking for the participation of partners at high schools at the 2 and 4 years to host these machines. And I guess one of the ways that this has been described to me, because as a layman myself and not being 100% technical, is think about if you, okay, do you like pizza?
Pizza.
Okay, you love pizza. Most towns have, a few pizza options or something that's close to them, at least, to where they can order a pizza and get hot and fresh pizza right to their door, right? Delivered. Think about with a network or a pizza shop, if there were only pizza shops on the East Coast and West Coast, and here we are in Kansas, we're ordering a pizza. By the time it gets to us, it's going to be really cold. And so what we're doing is placing these machines around the state. Let's pretend the machines are pizza places, so that when there's a machine here, and thank you to Southwest Plains Regional Service Center for hosting, we installed a machine this morning. Anybody that's here in this area will be able to get hot, fresh pizza and accessibility to the range from the network that we're building, that the range is hosted upon. I know that's kind of a lot, and we have a lot of technical narrative that we can pass on, but we've already, I think we're well over 30 partners now. Emporia State, Fort Hays State, KU, Southwest Plains now is hosting, Maria is hosting with the Innovation Center in Northwest Kansas, to give students access to the cyber range and to some of these opportunities. So that being said, you're looking at a picture of a machine. It's a 1U unit. They're 110 volt. It's standard power. You really just connect them to the internet, and there's no pre-configuration required. And it will obtain an IP address and connect to our Constellation, is what we call the network. So that's kind of how we bring partners on board. And we're here now to install. We were in Garden City at the community college yesterday. We have a few other meetings, Dodge City, and we're going to Great Bend as well, to bring some more partners on board. And what we would really love is if some of the high schools could come on board as well, because we think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for high school students. I think, yeah, there's the machines across the, did I miss anything? You guys? Okay. We might end up giving a lot of time back, but we'd love to hear questions or have more of a discussion.
I have a question in regard to hosting a machine.
Yep.
We're 65, 70 miles from Colby. Is that where you are, Maria?
I'm up in Norton, which is
Oh.
about 2 hours from Colby. We're up north, about 12 miles south of Nebraska.
Okay, well, we're 3 hours from you then. And so I guess being on the Colorado border, we're 30 miles south of Goodland from the tech school. And it would be something we'd really want to talk to you about as far as being a high school partner. And we'd like to create a pathway as well. We have a medical pathway right now. We have an industrial arts pathway, and we've been a test site with Amazon for their STEM project engineer program. We're on our 3rd year or 4th year of that to teach coding. So this would be a nice complement if we fit your criteria.
Absolutely. We're happy to do a follow-up, and the criteria is really the minimum. We limit the machines to 100 megabits. If your school has at least a 1 gig connection, we limit the machine to 100 megabits so that it shouldn't impact the network. Maria can attest to this, and I can attest to this. I have a machine in my house and 3 kids, and we're streaming and doing all kinds of other stuff, and it doesn't impact the network at all. And also some of the bigger institutions around the region are hosting and not seeing any impacts.
And it is literally plug and play.
Yeah.
Very secure. It's completely separate from your network, any other network that it's on. I literally put it in a closet and I just don't even know it's there unless I get into the closet for something.
Yeah.
And I mean, we, like Jay said, we stream and game and listen to music and all through the house and never have had any issue with it whatsoever.
Yeah, and so Inga, we would be happy to, and we have an agreement that we would send your way. Happy to meet with IT people at the school. Happy to do whatever it is, to have you all join on as partners, and we can send that to you as a follow-up.
That sounds great. I think that we're offering a class in the high school right now that's a lot of variety with coding and 3D printing and CAD design. And this is to also satisfy a math or science credit. So I think this would be a nice complement for us. And we do have fiber optic cable for our service, so
Excellent.
that helps us a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you would be well equipped then, and we could send a machine your way, and yeah, you plug it in and be online and have great access to the range there.
Okay, thank you.
Getting students into the program as well. Very smooth, very quick process. It's not complicated. We make it as easy on the schools as we can. So basically just contact us and let us know if you have a student that's interested and we'll get them signed up.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that something we can do this semester, or does it actually have to follow the school year with 2 full semesters?
Totally flexible, Inga. So they could sign up right now today. It's available. The scholarships we're awarding are available today. So if you have it, we kind of had that cadence or structure thinking that it might be good for the schools to get people like through cohorts, but it doesn't need to follow that path. It can be 1 or 2 students that raise their hand and say, I want to participate now, and they can get involved, and teachers as well.
Well, I'd need to be the student also.
Well, we'll send you the link and you can sign up today.
Exactly. I've got principals and counselors and
Yeah,
a guy
great.
from the school district, and yeah, come on.
Yeah, Maria's every meeting that I know Maria goes into, she comes out with somebody enrolled in the program. So that's great.
Okay, we just need to convince Kansas Department of Ed that this was also qualified for recertification credit.
I am working with them, just beginning talks with them, and we're gonna get that all straightened out, but we're going to match with the Kansas cluster pathway codes for Cybersecurity 1 and Cybersecurity 2. I'm very confident that we'll be able to fit into that criteria. But yeah, we're working on it, talking to them, making progress.
And
Great.
some other ammo to take back when you're having conversations with your schools and everything is we have had conversations with CanRen, who is a provider for a lot of the schools in the region, and they're approved their members to be part of or to be partners with us. Additionally, just recently, the Kansas Board of Regents President Blake Flanders sent out an endorsement of asking the schools within their purview to participate. So we're starting to gain a lot of traction, and we're just excited to see this thing start blowing up across the state and seeing kids and teachers and more people involved with cyber.
Yeah, we're just really passionate. I mean, every time we talk to industry, we like to say we're industry informed. They always go back to this idea of starting early, getting exposure as early as middle school and high school. And I know you all are doing a lot of that work day in and day out, but that's just really what we're passionate about. And bringing this technology and tools to as many places as we can is really the ultimate goal. And we try to make it as easy as possible because we want more enterprises. We want to fill the talent demands. We want this whole state to be an attractive brand for companies to want to relocate here and grow here. So that's really the core of all of this as well.
Okay. Are there any other questions or anything? If not, we'll give some time back and thank everybody. Melanie, are you good? Not to call you out, sorry.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, we appreciate everybody being with us today, and we are going to record, or we did record the session, so we can share it after. And Inga, we'll follow up with you. I think we've got your email address on the sign up, so we'll follow up with some more specific information in here soon, probably later today. But thanks again, and thanks to our hosts, Patty and Southwest Plains Regional Service Center, and thanks to Maria Dahlquist for being here. We really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.